Jack Foster stood in the back of the crowded auction room, his worn leather jacket hiding how thin he had become in the past months. His bank account showed less than 500 credits. It was barely enough for a week's food, let alone a spaceship. But he needed a ship to restart his business, or he would be stuck working loading docks forever. Lot 127, Orion-class freighter, government seizure, the auctioneer announced. Hull damage, engine status unknown. Sold as is, where is all sales? Final. Starting bid at 2,000 credits. The room stayed quiet. Jack studied the display screen showing the ship. It looked terrible, with burn marks along one side and what appeared to be rust patches on the landing struts. But something about it caught his eye. The model was older but reliable, and parts were easy to find. No takers at 2,000? Let's try 1,000 credits, the auctioneer said, sounding bored. Jack's friend Heather Williams elbowed him hard. Don't even think about it, she whispered. That thing is junk. 800 credits, the auctioneer continued when no one responded. Jack raised his hand before he could stop himself. 800 from the gentleman in the back. Do I hear 900? The room remained silent. Everyone else saw what Heather saw: a money pit, a ship that would cost more to fix than it was worth. Going once, going twice. Sold to bidder. Number 42 for 800 credits. Heather groaned. There goes your food money. Jack shook his head, excitement building in his chest. No, there goes my ticket back to the stars. 3 hours later, after signing many papers and transferring his credits, Jack stood before his purchase in Docking Bay 17. Up close, the ship looked even worse than in the pictures. It was about 30 meters long with a wide cargo section and small crew quarters. The name Star Jumper was barely visible beneath layers of grime. They wouldn't even pay to have it cleaned, said the dockmaster, handing Jack the access codes. Good luck. You're going to need it. Jack waited until the man left before approaching his new ship. He placed his hand on the hull, feeling the cold metal beneath his fingers. Just you and me now, he said quietly, the entry ramp lowered with a groan when he entered the access code. The interior lights flickered on, revealing a surprisingly clean main corridor. Jack had expected the inside to match the outside, but someone had taken care of the ship's interior. The cockpit was dusty but intact. All control systems appeared to be in working order. Jack sat in the pilot's chair, running his hands over the controls with a smile. This was where he belonged. After checking the cockpit, Jack moved to the engine room. The main drive looked untouched, and all the parts were there. It might need some tuning, but it wasn't the disaster he had feared. The life support systems also checked out. With a few days of work and some basic parts, the ship would be flyable. This doesn't make sense, Jack muttered to himself as he continued his inspection. Why was the ship so cheap? He made his way to the cargo hold, the largest section of the ship. The space was mostly empty, except for some storage. Containers fixed to the walls, and a large object in the center, covered with a tarp. Jack approached it cautiously. Pulling away the tarp, he found a metal pod about 2 meters long. It was like nothing he had ever seen before, with smooth lines and no visible seams. Strange symbols were etched into its surface, glowing faintly. Blue in the dim light of the cargo hold. What the hell? Jack whispered, touching one of the symbols. The pod hummed to life. The surface rippled like water, and the symbols glowed brighter. Jack jumped back as a seam appeared down the middle, and the pod began to open. Cold mist poured out, spreading across the floor. Inside the pod lay a woman, or something that looked very much like a woman, except her skin was a pale blue that seemed to shimmer in the light. Her hair was white as snow and floated around her head as if suspended in water. Jack stood frozen in place, unable to move or even think clearly. The blue woman's eyes opened suddenly, revealing silver irises that seemed to glow from within. She sat up smoothly, looking around the cargo hold before fixing her gaze on Jack. Then she smiled. "Hello, husband," she said in perfect English. "I am Zara." Jack took a step back. "I'm not, or not. Who are you?" The woman Zara tilted her head slightly. "I am Zara of House Lyrian, engineer first class of the Confederation scout vessel. You now command." She gestured to the ship around them. "And by the laws of my people, as the owner of this vessel, you are now my bonded partner." "That's not how things work for humans," Jack said, finding his voice. "We don single quotes T, ... own people." Zara stepped out of the pod with graceful movements. She wore a simple silver bodysuit that matched her eyes. "It is not ownership as you understand it," she explained. "It is a bond of service and protection. My life is tied to this ship, and now to you. This is our way." Jack ran a hand through his hair, trying to make sense of what was happening. "So, this ship ... it's not human-made?" Zara smiled again. "It wears a human skin, but its heart is Lyrian. That is why your people did not understand its value. Suddenly, the bargain price made sense. The government officials who seized the ship had no idea what they really had." "Are there others like you?" Jack asked. "My people have been watching yours for some time," Zara said. "I was sent to learn more about humans, but there was ... an incident. My ship was damaged, and I entered preservation sleep until repairs could be made." She looked around the cargo hold. "How long was I asleep?" "I don't know," Jack admitted. "I just bought this ship at auction. It was seized by the government. No one told me there was anyone on board." Zara's expression changed slightly, a hint of concern crossing her features. "Then my mission parameters have changed significantly." She studied Jack intently. "What is your name, husband?" Jack Foster, and please stop calling me husband." "What term would you prefer? Partner? Bondmate? Commander? How about just Jack?" he suggested. Zara nodded. "As you wish, Jack." She took a step toward him, and he noticed she moved with unusual grace, as if the gravity was different from what she was used to. "I must know more about our situation. Who controls this vessel officially? What government seized it? How did you come to acquire it?" Before Jack could answer, his comm unit beeped. It was Heather. "Jack, are you still alive in that death trap? I'm coming to check on you." Jack looked at Zara, her blue skin glowing softly in the dim cargo hold, and realized his life had just become infinitely more complicated. "I'm fine," he replied to Heather, "but you might want to come see this. I think I know why this ship was so cheap." Heather Williams stopped in the doorway of the cargo hold, her mouth open in shock. She looked from Jack to the blue-skinned woman and back again. "What did you do?" she finally asked. "I didn't do anything," Jack said. "She was already here. In some kind of sleep pod." Zara stepped forward and extended her hand the way she had seen Jack do when meeting the dockmaster. "I am Zara of House Lyrian. You are Jack's friend?" Heather shook the offered hand slowly, her eyes wide. "Heather Williams. And yes, unfortunately, I'm this idiot's friend." She looked at Jack again. "You bought an alien ship with an alien inside it for 800 credits. This has to be illegal somehow." "It's not illegal if they didn't know," Jack argued. "And I didn't know either. The ship disguises itself," Zara explained. "It was designed to blend with your technology. The external appearance is a projection." "A projection?" Jack asked. "You mean it doesn't really look like this?" Zara walked to a wall panel in the cargo hold and pressed a sequence of spots that didn't look any different from the rest of the wall. A hidden compartment opened, revealing a control pad with more of the strange glowing symbols. "This is the true control system," she said. The human interface in your cockpit is real but limited. It only accesses basic functions. She pressed several symbols, and the lights in the cargo hold dimmed for a moment. When they came back on, the space looked completely different. The walls were smooth and slightly curved, with panels of light running along them. The floor was now a soft, slightly springy material instead of metal grating. "This is how the ship truly appears," Zara said. Heather reached out to touch one of the walls. "It's warm," she said in surprise. "The ship is partially organic," Zara explained. "It lives and grows in its way." Jack ran his hand along the new surface. "So everything I saw was fake?" "Not fake," Zara corrected. "A disguise. The ship can change its appearance both inside and out. It was necessary for my mission to observe humans without interference." "Which brings us to the important question," Heather said, crossing her arms. "What exactly is your mission? And why do you keep calling Jack your husband?" Zara's expression became more serious. "My people, the Lyrians, have been studying Earth for many years. We are an old race. We have seen many younger species destroy themselves when they reach the point humans are at now, the early stages of space travel, powerful weapons, political division." She touched another panel, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the cargo hold. It showed Earth rotating slowly. I was sent as part of a contact team. We were to assess whether humans were ready for direct communication with other intelligent life. But my ship was damaged in an asteroid field near your Mars. I activated the emergency protocols, disguised the ship, enter preservation sleep, and wait for rescue. But instead, the ship was captured by someone on Earth. Jack sighed, understanding, donning double quotes yes, and then sold to you. Zara turned to face Jack directly. When a Lyrian vessel bonds with a new commander, it creates a bond between the senior crew member and that commander. It is a tradition that goes back thousands of years. In your terms, the closest concept would be marriage. But that's crazy, Jack protested. You can't just be married to someone you don't know because of some tradition. To my people, bonds and contracts are sacred, Zara said. More important than feelings or desires. The bond ensures loyalty and trust between crew and commander. She tilted her head slightly. Is this not important to humans as well? Trust, yes. Forced marriage, no, Heather said firmly. A beeping sound came from the cockpit, interrupting their conversation. Jack hurried to check it, with Zara and Heather following. The communication system was active, showing an incoming message from Earthport Authority. That's weird, Jack said. They shouldn't be contacting us unless they realized what they sold. Heather finished. Jack pressed the receive button. A man in a gray uniform appeared on the screen. He looked tense. Attention vessel in Bay 17. This is port security. We have detected unauthorized technology activation in your ship. Remain where you are. A security team is on the way to inspect the vessel. The message ended. Jack looked at Zara with alarm. They must have detected when you changed the ship's appearance, he said. Zara nodded. The energy signature would be noticeable to your sensors. We need to change it back, Heather said urgently. Too late, Jack replied, looking at the docking. Bay cameras. 6 guards were already approaching, armed with stun weapons. They'll be here in 2 minutes. Zara moved to the pilot's seat and began pressing controls that Jack hadn't even noticed before. The hidden systems lit up under her touch. What are you doing? Jack asked. Preparing for emergency departure, she said calmly. This ship cannot fall into the hands of your authorities. The technology is too advanced. It would disrupt your natural development. We can't just take off, Heather protested. They'll shoot us down. They can try, Zara said with a small smile. Jack, as commander, You must give the departure order. Jack looked at the security team getting closer on the screen, then at Heather's worried face, and finally at Zara's calm, confident expression. He had wanted a ship to start over, to get back to the stars. He just hadn't expected it to happen. Quite like this. Do it, he said. Get us out of here. Zara pressed a final symbol. The ship hummed to life, systems powering up much faster than any human vessel Jack had ever seen. The disguise reactivated, making the cockpit look human-made. Again, but Jack now knew the truth beneath the surface. Docking clamps released, Zara announced, preparing for atmospheric exit. On the screen, the security team began running, realizing what was happening. One of them raised his weapon. Hold on, Zara warned. She pressed another control, and the ship lifted smoothly, much more quietly than should have been possible. Security guard fired, but the shot bounced harmlessly off the hull. The ship rose through the open bay doors and into the sky. They'll send fighters after us, Heather said, gripping a handrail. They won't catch us, Zara replied. The ship accelerated, pushing them back in their seats. The blue sky outside the viewports quickly darkened to black as they left Earth's atmosphere behind. There was none of the usual shaking or roaring of engines. The ship moved like it was sliding through water. Where are we going? Jack asked, watching Earth grow smaller behind them. First to safety, Zara said. Then you must decide. My mission has changed now. I was supposed to observe, but now direct contact has occurred. And with our bond, you have become part of that mission. Jack looked at Heather, who seemed both terrified and amazed. What have you gotten us into, Jack? She whispered. Jack watched as Zara expertly guided the ship away from Earth, her blue hands dancing over the controls. I'm not sure, he admitted, but I think my bargain ship just became the most valuable and dangerous thing in the solar system. The ship moved silently through space, leaving Earth far behind. Jack watched the stars through the view screen, still trying to process everything that had happened in the last few hours. One moment he was a broke cargo hauler spending his last credits on a junker ship, and the next he was fleeing Earth with an alien wife in a vessel that was far more advanced than anything humans had built. We should be safe here for now, Zara said, her fingers dancing across the control panel. I've activated the full stealth systems. To Earth's sensors, we simply vanished. What about the tracking beacon? Heather asked. All registered ships have one, Zara smiled. Disabled. The human components of this vessel can be switched on and off as needed. Jack turned away from the stars to look at Zara. I think it's time you showed us what this ship can really do. Zara nodded. Of course, Jack. The tour should begin with the bridge. She pressed a sequence on the panel, and the cockpit transformed around them. The simple human controls faded away, replaced by sleek, curved surfaces with glowing blue symbols. The pilot and co-pilot seats reshaped themselves, becoming more comfortable. The view screen expanded to wrap around them, giving a complete view of space in all directions. This is the true bridge of a Lyrian scout vessel, Zara said with pride. From here, we can navigate to any star system within 500 light-years. Heather gasped. 500 light-years? That's impossible. The fastest human ships can barely reach the nearest star in 20 years. Your physics is limited. Zara said kindly. You still believe faster-than-light travel is impossible. It is merely difficult. Jack ran his hand over one of the control panels. Can you teach me to fly it? The real way, not the human disguise, of course. As commander, you must know your vessel. Zara gestured for him to sit in the pilot's seat. Let me show you the basics. For the next hour, Zara explained the ship's main systems. Jack learned that the vessel, which Zara called the Starlight Wanderer in her language, could bend space rather than simply moving through it. It could also create its own gravity, generate shields that could withstand impacts from small asteroids, and communicate instantly across vast distances. This is why we were careful about making contact, Zara explained. If humans acquired this technology too quickly, it could be dangerous. Your species still fights wars among itself. Not all. Of us, Jack said defensively. No, not all, Zara agreed. That is why we watch and evaluate. A soft alarm sounded from one of the panels. Zara checked it quickly. We have a problem, she said. A human vessel is searching for us. Military class. Jack looked at the display, showing a sleek black ship moving in a search pattern. It was. Much smaller than most military vessels, but looked fast and well armed. That's not a regular Navy ship, Heather said, frowning. Looks like a private security vessel. Corporate military. Zara enhanced the image. The ship bears no identification. Markings. Someone knows what they lost and wants it back, Jack said grimly. The question is, who? On a smaller screen, Zara brought up information about the auction where Jack had purchased the ship. According to these records, the vessel was seized during a raid on illegal technology smugglers. The previous owner was never officially identified. Can they track us? Jack asked. Not with their current technology, Zara assured him. But they know we left Earth, so they will keep searching. We should move farther away. Where can we go? Heather asked. We need supplies, and I didn't exactly pack for a space adventure. Jack thought for a moment. I have a friend at the Mars mining colony, Alan Rodriguez. He works in communications and owes me a favor. He might help us without alerting authorities. Mars is still close to Earth, Zara cautioned. But with our stealth systems, we should be able to approach safely. She set a course for Mars, and the ship accelerated smoothly. The stars outside seemed to stretch and blur as the Starlight Wanderer's engines engaged fully for the first time. This is amazing, Jack said, watching the display that showed there. Incredible speed. We'll reach Mars in hours instead of days. Zara nodded. This is only cruising speed. The ship can move much faster if needed. While they traveled, Zara continued the tour. She showed them the engine room, where a glowing blue crystal pulsed with energy. She explained that it was a power source that converted dark matter into usable energy technology that was centuries. Beyond human capability, the living quarters were next. What had seemed like small, cramped rooms in the human disguise were actually spacious and comfortable. Soft lighting adjusted automatically to their preferences, and the temperature remained perfect without any need for controls. The ship responds to its occupants, Zara explained. It learns what you like and adapts. The most impressive part was the cargo hold. In its true form, it was 3 times larger than it had appeared. How is this possible? Heather asked, walking around the vast space. The ship doesn't look this big from outside. Space can be folded, Zara said simply, as if explaining something obvious. Your scientists understand this in theory, but haven't applied it practically yet. As they completed the tour, Jack felt overwhelmed. The ship was worth billions, maybe. Trillions in human terms. No wonder someone was hunting them. We need to decide what to do after Mars, he said as they returned to the bridge. We can't just keep running. I must report to my people, Zara said. But the communication systems were damaged in the asteroid collision. I need specific materials to repair them. What kind of materials? Heather asked. Some can be found on Mars. Others might be more difficult to locate in your solar system. The ship's sensors beeped again. The display showed they were approaching Mars, but there was something else. 3 more of the black ships were in orbit around the red planet. They're waiting for us, Jack said. They must have guessed where we'd go. Zara looked concerned for the first time. They are more organized than I expected. This suggests they know exactly what this ship is. How could they know that? Heather asked. Someone must have found something on the ship before I awoke, Zara said. Perhaps downloaded information or studied the technology. Jack made a decision. We need to find out who we're dealing with. Alan can help with that, but we'll need to be careful about how we approach Mars. Zara nodded and turned to the controls. I can modify our appearance. Instead of hiding completely, we can look like a standard mining transport. That should allow us to dock without raising alarms. Do it, Jack said as Zara worked. Jack stared at the black ships patrolling near Mars. Someone powerful wanted this ship and the secrets it contained. And now, whether he liked it or not, Jack was caught in the middle of something much bigger than a simple auction bargain. I hope your friend is trustworthy, Zara said quietly as the ship began its approach to Mars. So do I, Jack replied. Because right now, we don't have many other options. The Starlight Wanderer, now disguised as a common mining transport, docked at Mars Colony Port without incident. The black ships continued their patrol patterns, paying no attention to what appeared to be just another work vessel. It worked, Heather said with relief as the docking clamps secured the ship. Now what? I'll go find Alan, Jack said. You two stay here. Zara can't exactly walk around in public, Zara nodded. My appearance would cause too much attention, but I can help you in other ways. She removed a small device from her wrist and handed it to Jack. This will allow us to communicate no matter where you are. It also has scanning capabilities. If anyone questions you, it will analyze their biological responses to determine if they are telling the truth. Jack slipped the device onto his wrist. It looked like a simple watch, but felt warm against his skin. Be careful, Heather warned. If those black ships are here, their crews might be looking for us on foot, too. I'll be quick, Jack promised. He checked that his identity card showed his real name and information. The port authorities would have his ship registered under his name, so using a fake ID would only raise suspicions. Mars Colony was the oldest and largest human settlement outside Earth. Its domed structures housed nearly 50,000 people, mostly miners, engineers, and their families. The main dome contained shops, living quarters, and administrative offices, all built with the red Martian soil visible through clear ceiling panels above. Jack moved through the crowded main concourse, keeping his head down. The place had changed since his last visit 2 years ago. More shops, more people, more security cameras. He made his way to the communications center where Alan worked. The receptionist looked up as Jack approached. Can I help you? I'm looking for Alan Rodriguez. Tell him Jack Foster is here. The young man checked his screen. He's on shift. I'll let him know you're waiting. A few minutes later, Alan appeared. He was shorter than Jack, with dark hair and friendly eyes that widened in surprise when he saw his old friend. Jack, what are you doing on Mars? The men clasped hands warmly. Long story. Is there somewhere we can talk privately? Alan nodded, looking curious. My office. Follow me. Once the door closed behind them, Jack quickly explained the situation finding. Zara, the ship's true nature, and the mysterious black vessels hunting them. Alan whistled softly. You always did find trouble, but this is a new level even for you. He turned to his computer. These black ships, let me see what I can find out. His fingers moved rapidly over the keyboard. There's been chatter about unidentified vessels in the system. Not official military, but clearly well-funded. One moment. He pulled up another screen. This is interesting. The auction where you bought your ship. The previous owner was a company called Nexus Technologies. Never heard of them, Jack sighed. Most people haven't. They're a small division of Galactic Industries. Very secretive. They work on experimental propulsion systems and weapons technology. Jack leaned forward. So they're the ones who had Zara's ship before me? Seems that way. And here's where it gets weird. Alan pulled up a news article. 3 months ago, Nexus Technologies was raided by Earth government forces. They claimed Nexus was developing illegal weapons. A lot of property was seized, including several ships. Your ship must have been one of them. But why would the government sell such advanced technology at a public auction? Jack asked. Alan shrugged. They probably didn't know what they had. The ship's disguise fooled them. But someone at Nexus would know exactly what was lost. He pulled up another file. The CEO of Nexus is a man named Gregory Bennett, ex-military, rumored to have connections to both the government and some less reputable organizations. Jack's wrist device suddenly beeped. He raised it to his ear. Jack, Zara's voice came through clearly. We have a problem. Someone is attempting to override the docking bay security. I believe they are trying to gain access to the ship. How long can you keep them out? Jack asked. The ship's systems are superior, but they appear to have specific override codes. They may have studied the ship while I was in preservation sleep. I estimate 20 minutes before they breach the main airlock. We're coming back, Jack said. He turned to Alan. I need to go. We've got company. Alan stood up. I'm coming with you. You'll need help. It could be dangerous, Jack warned. You just told me you found an alien with advanced technology that could change humanity forever. I'm not missing this. Alan grabbed a small bag from his desk. Besides, I know this colony better than anyone. If you need to hide, I know all the best places. They hurried back through the concourse. Jack noticed 2 men in plain clothes watching the exits. They wore no uniforms, but their posture and alertness marked them as security or military. We've got eyes on us, Jack muttered. Alan nodded slightly. Service corridor to the left. It'll take longer, but should avoid most cameras. They slipped into the corridor, just as one of the men started moving toward them. The narrow passageway was dimly lit and filled with pipes and electrical conduits. They moved quickly, following Alan's lead through the maze of maintenance tunnels. Almost there, Alan said as they approached the docking bay area. Just need to. He stopped abruptly as a figure stepped out from a side passage. A woman in a dark uniform stood blocking their way, a small weapon pointed at them. Jack Foster? She asked calmly. I'm Agent Lara Simmons, Earth Special Intelligence. I need you to come with me. Jack tensed, ready to run, but there was nowhere to go in the narrow corridor. I'm not here to harm you, she continued, or your passenger, but you have something of extreme importance, and you're in serious danger. From who? The people in the black ships? Jack asked. Agent Simmons nodded. Gregory Bennett has hired private military contractors to recover what he lost. He knows exactly what your ship is, and he'll kill anyone who gets in his way. Jack glanced at his wrist device. The small light was blinking green. According to Zara's technology, the agent was telling the truth. Why should we trust you? Alan asked. Because unlike Bennett, I don't want to weaponize alien technology. I want to establish peaceful contact. She lowered her weapon slightly. And because right now, I'm your only chance of getting back to your ship alive. Bennett's men have the docking bay surrounded. Jack's device beeped again. Jack, Zara's voice came through. They're cutting through the secondary airlock. Heather and I are moving to the engine room. We need to leave immediately. Jack made a quick decision. If you want to help us, now's the time. We need to get back to our ship right away. Agent Simmons nodded and raised her comm unit. Team 2, create a diversion at the main concourse. Team 3, secure a path to Bay 17. She looked at Jack. When we get there, you need to make your ship ready to depart immediately. My people can only hold them off for a few minutes. And after we escape? What then? Jack asked. Then we talk, she said simply, about the future of human-alien relations, and how to keep your blue friend safe from people like Bennett. A distant explosion rocked the station, and alarms began to sound. That's our diversion, Agent Simmons said. Move now. Jack, Allen, and Agent Simmons raced through the maintenance corridors as alarms blared throughout the Mars colony. Red emergency lights flashed, casting strange shadows as they ran. My people report that Bennett's men are breaking into your ship right now, Simmons said, checking her community. We have less than 5 minutes. They reached a service door that opened into the docking bay area. Through the small window, Jack could see armed men in black uniforms surrounding the Starlight Wanderer. 2 of them were cutting through the main airlock with laser tools. There are at least 8 of them, Allen whispered. How do we get past? Simmons touched her earpiece. Team 3, execute now. Seconds later, the lights in the docking bay went out completely. In the sudden darkness, confusion erupted among Bennett's men. Simmons pulled night vision goggles from her pack and handed similar pairs to Jack and Allen. Now we move, she said. Stay close. They slipped into the docking bay, hugging the wall. In the green glow of the night vision, Jack could see Bennett's men stumbling around, trying to restore order. This way, Simmons whispered, leading them toward the ship through. A maze of cargo containers. They were halfway there when someone shouted, There they are! Laser fire erupted, cutting through the darkness with bright red beams. Run! Simmons ordered, pulling out her weapon and returning fire. Jack and Allen sprinted for the ship, while Simmons provided cover. As they reached the hull, Jack pressed, his hand against the secondary access panel, hidden near the landing strut. Zara, it's me. Open up. A small door slid open in what had appeared to be solid metal. Jack and Allen dove inside, followed moments later by Simmons, who was clutching her arm where a laser had grazed her. Get us out of here, Jack shouted as the door sealed behind them. They rushed to the bridge where Zara was already at the controls. Heather sat in the co-pilot's seat, looking frightened but determined. Who's this? Heather asked, gesturing to Simmons and Allen. Friends, Jack said quickly. Zara, disengage from the dock. Now. Zara's blue fingers flew across the control panel. The docking clamps are locked electronically. They're trying to trap us. I can help with that, Allen said, moving to a secondary console. Give me access to the ship's communication system. Zara nodded and opened a panel for him. Allen connected his personal device to the ship's systems. I can send a colony-wide emergency override, he explained. It'll release all docking clamps as a safety measure, but it will only buy us a few seconds before they realize what happened. Do it, Jack ordered. Allen typed rapidly, then hit a final command. Now. The ship shuddered as the clamps released. Immediately, Zara activated the engines. The Starlight Wanderer pulled away from the dock just as the lights in the bay came back on. Through the view screen, Jack saw Bennett's men firing at them, but the lasers bounced harmlessly off the hull. Taking us out of Mars orbit, Zara announced calmly, as the ship accelerated away from Mars. Jack turned to Simmons. All right, we're safe for now. Time for you to explain exactly who you are and what you want. Agent Simmons winced as Heather helped bandage her arm. I'm part of a small division within Earth Intelligence that monitors unusual technological developments. We became aware of something strange when Bennett's company was raided. The official story was illegal weapons research, but what we found was evidence of non-human technology. So you knew about Zara's people? Allen asked. Not specifically, Simmons admitted. But we knew someone had made contact with an advanced civilization. We've been watching Bennett for months. When his ship was sold at auction, we lost track of it until your rather dramatic departure from Earth. Jack looked at Zara. What do you think? Can we trust her? Zara studied Simmons carefully. My people have observed that humans often have complex motivations. But the device indicates she believes what she is saying. She turned to Simmons. What do you propose? Before Simmons could answer, the ship's alert system activated. Multiple vessels approaching, Zara announced. The black ships from Mars. Plus 3 more from Earth direction. They're boxing us in, Simmons said grimly. Bennett must have called for reinforcements. Can we outrun them? Jack asked. Yes, Zara replied, but not without revealing the ship's true capabilities. Once we use our advanced propulsion, Earth will detect it. It would confirm what Bennett already suspects. Jack made a decision. Then it's time to stop running. He turned to Simmons. If you truly want peaceful contact, help us. Who in Earth's? Government would listen without trying to seize this ship and its technology? Simmons thought for a moment. There's a scientific council independent from military control. They've been preparing for possible alien contact for decades. They would understand the importance of handling this properly. Suddenly, the ship's communication system activated on its own. A message appeared on the main screen in the same glowing. Symbols that covered Zara's technology. Zara's eyes widened. It's from my people. They've found me. She quickly responded with similar symbols. After a brief exchange, she turned to the others, her silver eyes shining with excitement. A Lyrian diplomatic vessel is approaching your solar system. They detected our ship's activation when we left Earth. They will arrive within hours. Hours? Alan said in disbelief. From outside the solar system? Our technology allows it, Zara said simply. Jack looked at the tactical display showing Bennett's ships closing in. Will your people help us against Bennett? They will do more than that, Zara replied. They wish to make official contact with humanity. Your actions helping me, rather than exploiting my technology, have convinced them that some humans are ready. But what about Bennett and his forces? Heather asked WORIEDLY. Zara smiled. They are no match for a Lyrian diplomatic vessel. True to her word, 3 hours later, as Bennett's ships surrounded them near the orbit of Jupiter, a massive vessel appeared seemingly from nowhere. It dwarfed not only their ship, but Bennett's entire fleet. A soft blue light enveloped the Starlight Wanderer, protecting it. Bennett's ships scattered in panic, but the Lyrian vessel simply disabled their weapon systems with a pulse of energy. That caused no other damage. My people wish to speak with Earth's leaders, Zara announced after receiving another message. They request that we serve as intermediaries, given our unique bond. Jack looked around at the unlikely group they had formed. A down-on-his-luck cargo hauler, a blue-skinned alien engineer, a tough cargo specialist, a communications expert, and a government agent with a conscience. Together, they would help shape humanity's first official contact with an advanced alien civilization. I guess that auction bargain was worth every credit after all, Jack said with a smile, reaching out to take Zara's hand. She intertwined her blue fingers with his. The ship brought us together for a purpose, Jack Foster. Perhaps that purpose is larger than either of us imagined. As the massive Lyrian vessel escorted them back toward Earth, Jack realized that his life had changed forever all because he had taken a chance on a bargain ship at auction, never expecting that an alien wife would come with it.